Hey guys, this will be video 2 for the Gen 6 454 in the Silverton, and after about an hour of turning the engine over very gently and slowly cleaning out each cylinder, this is going to be bank 1. I've already got it fairly clean. Went across it with a twisted brush wheel. I think I've mentioned this before. This is an awesome little tool. It's from Harbor Freight. It's like $6 or $7, but it's just a great little tool, and I like to use it to go across the decks gently, very gently. I don't put any pressure, but it's just a real nice way of cleaning off any crud after you've done your chiseling. Long story short, the reason I wanted to make this video is to identify that some of my discoveries and where I think we should go with the block. Long story short, this is bank 1, so this would be cylinder 1, 3, 5, 7. You can see there were some valve strikes, or a exhaust valve strike right here. Pretty nasty, but on the surface, I don't see any, and I've looked very, very close. I don't see any hairline cracks or anything like that. These being, aluminum alloy, they can take quite a punishment. This gives you an idea that it was some sort of cowboy build at one time. I've never seen anybody do that before. Identify a piston by scratching a 4 or a number in the top of it, and the fact that this is obviously cylinder number 3 and that's piston number 1. The only thing that gave me some reassurance was the fact that I found the indicator dot was pointing in the correct direction. If it's a standard rotation, that dot needs to always be pointing towards the front of the engine. So on that note, so we had some valve strikes right there, 3 little minuscule strikes right there, one damn near crescent moon right there. That was a pretty good blow, but only one. And this will give you an idea. This engine probably came out of the same shop, or either maybe some guys using Roman numerals and this guy's using I don't know American numbers. I don't know. Anyway, it's kind of comical. You got cylinder number 8, or piston number 8 marked right here. So again, at least the indicators at the front. These pistons probably came out of another engine. At one time, this engine got torn down, and these 2 cylinders were probably corroded, or the pistons, there were some issues with them, and they just replaced them. So again, the fact that the indicators pointing in the front, I'm okay with that. It's from a standpoint of the engine turning over. I've turned it over maybe 15 or 20 times, and I mean it's absolutely flawless. I didn't feel any hiccup or hang up or anything, no chatter or any sort of issues with the what I call a rotational mass test. And also each piston, because you got the piston pin going perpendicular actually in line with the crankshaft. So your conrod comes up, holds the, I can't do it in the camera, but the conrod comes up and holds the pin. The pin is pointing this way, and the piston will rock this way because of movement. So a good indicator of how clean the rings are, how clean the joint is, and whether if this thing hydrolocked. A lot of times this stuff will show up, but when I push on the top or the bottom, in other words at the 12 o'clock and the 6 o'clock position, each piston rocks really nicely. When I say rock, it rocks forward and back, 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 or top and bottom, however you want to look at it. So in other words, this bank is excellent. I've already kind of just ran through that one briefly on bank number 2, but what that tells me is that it's very, very unlikely that any of the rings are frozen up, especially frozen shut, because I've pulled enough engines apart down here that if they sit for a while and the rings freeze up and rust, these pistons, they won't rock at all. They will not move. So the fact that these babies are rocking, that's a very good indicator that we got a great engine. I don't like the fact that I found these scratched up pistons, and I sure as hell don't like the fact that we got some strikes there, but based on the fact that the engine is in the boat and this is just a real extensive detailed repair, I'm going to give it a clean bill of health and say it's definitely a feels like a really good engine, so I don't suspect anything has happened, you know, for like a hydro lock or a major detonation or anything like that. So anyway, I'm going to end the video right there. I didn't want to ramble on, but I did want to clarify that because there's a possibility I'm getting ready to, after I clean this other side, I may be able to get the heads on tonight, and I don't want to risk getting the heads on and then realize, oh crap, I forgot to do an identifying video of all my discoveries. So again, bank 1 nice and healthy, other than the multiple valve strikes and the funky number scoring, so should be fine. And I'll do another video on the other side here briefly.